ba da ba dee da. See ba da ba dee da da ba ba dee ba da ba dee da da da. See ba 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 dee ba ba dee la da da do. Hello, I just have I I have I had a date with myself. It's a new concept. I'm sure it's happened before, but this is the first time that I really went somewhere and then I said to myself, yes, this is all about me. I am spending some money on myself. I am valuing myself as much as I would value other people. Like, I, I guess that's what it's about. Now, what I think makes a good date, whether it's with myself or someone else, what makes a good date to me is selfish. Like if it's with two people, obviously it's prioritizing you two above everyone else. Like there shouldn't be any checking the phone or going and like if you're with a bunch of other people and there's like 10 of you, that's not a real date. It has to be you, the people on the date, whether that's one person or two people or whatever, have to be at the center. So it's got to be selfish, novel, substantial, and planned. Those are what I think makes a good date. I'm curious what you think makes a good date. So let's talk about that. Selfish. I say this a lot, but ultimately it's about saying, you know what, yeah, I'm going to spend this money on me. I am not going to, I'm going to prioritize my pleasure in this moment. I'm not going to focus on learning or focus on something that I should be doing. Let's focus on what we want to do. Let's focus on our joys for a moment. I think it has to be substantial. Like, it doesn't have to be like a whole day, but at least a couple of hours, at least 2 hours. I think that if you just go for a really short dinner for like 1 hour, like, that's okay, but like, it's not really a full date, I don't think. I think it has to be novel. Like, if you're going for a meal, it has to be somewhere that you've not been, at least in a couple of weeks. You can't just be going together to the same place that you go every night. That doesn't really feel like a genuine date again. It's just, okay, we're having um, dinner, I'm making you dinner again. And, like, obviously, it's important to have these regular joys in your life. But once something becomes routine, it ceases to have that novelty, which gives it that extra zing, which really makes it, in my opinion, a great date. Now, finally, for me at least, it has to be planning. Like, we can't just. If we were to say, hey, let's hitchhike to Edinburgh, then, like, there has to be a plan of how to get back. And things might go wrong, but, like, there has to be a vague plan of, okay, at this point we're going to come back, or hey, what, you know what would be a great date? Going to that island in Bangkok where you can take a boat over for 20 baht or 40 baht, like return trip. Of course, we're going to do the return trip, and then hire a bike for 80. So, like, it's a day out for 120 baht. That's like £3. That's pretty good. And then you get to cycle, and that's not something that I've done for a while. That's something novel. It's something substantial. It's something that hopefully I'm doing because I will enjoy it. Like, if you're just doing it for the exercise, it doesn't count. It has to be about the joy. It has to be something that genuinely brings you joy. And there has to be some planning in there. So, let's give some examples of date ideas. I've already talked about, I think it's called Bangchak. Like, going to Bencha Kitty Park, that would be cool. Maybe going to see the reclining Buddha. Maybe going to the Pad Thai place. Like, the first time I went to the Pad Thai place, that wasn't a date. That was me, like, scouting for a date for myself. But next time, I'll be able to plan it. I'll be able to think to myself, you know what? That was a really good pad thai place. Like, it wasn't the most expensive thing or anything. It was like maybe 50 baht. But like, just being there, I know it's going to give me more pleasure. So like, you've got the planning, you've got the expectation that this is going to bring you joy in the moment. Now, of course, there has to be a line out of how selfish you can be. Like, you can't actively go doing other people harm, and I'm not going to be so hedonistic as to take all the drugs or whatever. But it has a date, to my mind, at least for a couple of hours, is about saying, you know, that work, yes, I've got some work that I should have done a few days ago, but just for a few hours, let me ignore that. Let me go on a boat. Let me go on a cycle ride to somewhere specific. Let me go to a museum that I've put a little bit of thought into and think I will enjoy. Or let me go somewhere that's not about the learning, not about learning Thai or seeing the new place because I think I should, or going somewhere because my friend's running the event, but because I think I will enjoy it. Whether it's a date with yourself or whether it's a date with someone else. I think that's what it is. It's about saying that you pause for a moment, and you pause for a moment. You've done enough work to help the business of living. For this moment, you are just going to be as selfish as you can be. Anyway, that's my thoughts on what makes a good date for yourself. I would love to hear your opinions. Let me know if you think that this is a crazy idea, or maybe it's reframed things in a way that's helpful to you. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any ideas for what you'd like to do on a date with yourself. I'm thinking, I said novelty. Like, I think if you've done it in the past 8 days, then it's kind of too regular to be a date. So I'm going to say, reading a comic, that would be a great thing. Today, what did I do? I went and had an expensive meal. That's something that I've not done in a while. I sat beside the river, and then I did something creative, but not for anyone else. I didn't work on a game. I didn't work on a picture for anyone else. I worked on something that I'm never going to show you. Now, that's not out of spite. That's just out of making it special for me. Do you know what I mean? I doodled on my umbrella. I drew like a few things, and it's not about anyone else's validation except for mine. And to me, that was a good date. And anyway, I'm going to sign off and say bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye. Bye, bye.